This is Nerfaholic, and subscribe and stuff. Hi, this is Nerfaholic. I'm making another video. This is still about the hammershot. It's gonna be more in depth, and it's gonna be almost a mod guide pretty much. Okay, so this stock hammershot, pretty much. This right here, first of all, is a rear loading mod. So you would, let's take this off. I already unscrewed it for you guys' sake. You would just pretty much cut right there on both parts of the shell. These actually divide into 3 parts. There's this part. There's this part and there's this part. There's clips in there that you'll need to get through, but it's pretty easy. And then what you do is you just load in from the back right there. Except, of course, you need to sand that in so you can actually load them. Okay, so what we're going to start with. First, I'm just going to tell you how a hammershot works. So, obviously, this is a cylinder. That's a cylinder. And that's how you load it. The priming mechanism is pretty unique, actually. You know, being hammer action and all. So whenever you pull this back, pushes the spring, it catches on the trigger right here, and this bar right here pushes against this and rotates the cylinder. It also draws back this plunger head that's in here. I'll show you more here in a second. And then it fires with the trigger. It lets go of that. So some people ask, why is the hammershot so low in FPS? One of the main things is because of the plunger volume. This plunger head, it does not go fully back. It actually stops about right in the middle. I have a flashlight right here. I'll prime it for you. It only goes to about right here. Yeah. And then it has this whole part to utilize, which is what we're gonna do eventually. Probably shouldn't do that to your hammershot. You might break it. So my other one broke. Oh well. So, also another bad thing about it is the seal. This is an upgraded seal, because I can't switch them out, really. But they come with a thin foam seal that would not last or anything. Right, what you see right here is a 3mm piece of craft foam. And it works pretty good. It's super glued on. I'll get to that later. So first of all, I want to explain what I've done spring-wise. So, most Nerf stock springs, you know, that shoot lead darts, they come with 2.5 kg springs. This one's no different. So there's a couple spring options you could do, depending on your FPS goal and how good you are with seals. I'll explain it. So first of all, you could have the orange mod works 7 kg. It's pretty solid. If you want a little more, you could stack a triad spring over it. Doesn't interfere at all. But this requires a little hand strength, but this is the biggest spring load you could probably put in a hammershot. So these are I got these from Home Depot. They come in the handyman kit, and they come with those big 20 kg springs. There's these little ones. They're pretty distinguishable. I'll post a link in the description. But you stack them on like this, and they go in there. Also, I realized these don't get full compression, or no real hammershot spring does, that I have at least. So you're gonna have to make a spacer, which is what I put on this one. I'll go over this upgraded thing in a minute. I made this out of a sheet of polycarbonate. It's probably like 3-4 millimeters. And I just jumbled a cross shape into it. So you could put it on here. So you get full compression. The more compression you get, the more FPS. Because you can have it like this, but it won't go at maximum input. But if you have it, let's see if I can even do it. Like this, it'll get more. Still not full compression. I don't have that strong of hands. It's actually a little hard for me to pull these back. Which is why I'm trying to, why it's so important to get the right seal. Because if you have the right seals and stuff, you could make the most efficiency of a smaller spring load. Which is also plunger volume. Plunger volume plays a big thing in that. So, let me show you how, theoretically, I'll say this first. If you could extend the draw, you would get more FPS, which is exactly what I did. Which is what Radioactive 52 did. He helped me tremendously on this mod. You know, this is his idea pretty much. He helped me so much building this. He has a YouTube channel too. I think it's called Trip Miller. And it's pretty good. So let's get into how we build this. So this is how it looks stock, right? Here's this trigger. You know, plastic parts. So how it goes is it catches on this part right here. And when you pull the trigger, it releases that, pushing it down. But to get this extended draw, we need this to go back. The first thing you would need to do, I'll edit that out. So this is the stock thing. Forget about the O-ring. It's on that. I lost the other one. So you would, to make it go back more, you need to shorten this rod right here. So I'll show you how to do that. So on this one, I've already done it. You take that same polycarbonate you made this spacer out of, and you make 2 strips. And then you cut this to the required length. That brings it all the way back, you know. But not too far, because you don't want it out of here, because it'll decrease stability going in, even though I did. It's still worse though. So then you would take 2 screws. You drill it first, probably. You should. And you would screw them both in. I put super glue in here just to secure it even more. Also because I put a small gap, evidently. Next, you need to cut some stuff over here. I'll show you it compared to the stock one. I'll put it under for you. So, you cut all that off, and it makes it to where let's see this. So this makes it go forward a whole lot more. Because when it goes back like that, it'll only go forward and it'll leave that space in the front, and you do not want that space in the front now. So now you have to delete it from the front by doing that. Also, this is an orange Monterey kit, by the way, just the metal one, because I want reinforced pieces with this spring load that I'm using, you know, just the reliability. I also cut this trigger piece so that it goes all the way forward, because part of it was blocking. Part of it was blocking it, this part right here, I think. So I just cut all that off. It makes it look cooler on the outside too, because you can see it. But yeah, shouldn't be too hard to cut off with the Dremel. It's not super good steel. I mean, it's decent. But you can still cut it with the Dremel, which I find interesting, because it's not thin by any means. Anyways, yeah, now it goes back more. Let's see this. See how it goes back? And there'll be some things you need to do. There's just things in here that stop it from going all the way back. I'll show you a couple of them. They're actually on the shell. So, first of all, you need to remove this screw post all the way to the bottom. You won't be able to use it. You need to remove this screw post on, where'd it go? Oh yeah, I took that out, didn't I? remove this screw post on the back. It's going to be useless also. And you just remove all of that so nothing catches on it. Also, to make it go forward or back more, it actually needs to go back more. So you cut this part off more. There's more of it. Because that wasn't there before. That's where it stopped it. And that's, I think, that. So, I forgot to mention also, you remove this rubber piece because you really don't need it. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, you just slide it out of there. And yeah, you just put all that stuff back in. Next, I'm gonna go over how to get the dead space away. Oh well, we don't need that. So let's take a look at this plunger tube right here, because that's where dead space takes place. Oh, also on the plunger head, I deleted the dead space on it. However little it was, I just put hot glue, flattened it. I think you can see that. Okay, on here, I know this looks like a horrible rubber, but it works. It's not rubber, it's foam. So there's dead space all in here, right? That's where the air restrictor was. You do not want the air restrictor in. It's stupid. Don't leave it in there. So once you take that out and drill it out, here's a stock one, by the way. So what you would do is you would fill this all with epoxy putty and put a piece of brass down the middle like this. And you can see the epoxy putty back in there. And you just super glue it on to the plunger tube. And make sure no air leaks out at all, which that would be bad. Okay. Now let's get to the seal. I already told you about the seal. It's 3mm foam, craft foam. I've heard some people use silicone too. I did use the silicone one, but it was too big. So next, let's get to the cylinder. So I got the orange Monroe cylinder. I painted this one gold and black, or it was black. I painted it gold. Actually, I did paint it both. Okay, so you would put brass in here. You would drill it out with a 9/16 or 7/32 drill bit. Make sure to hand drill it so you don't crack anything. And you would just slide it through and super glue it. Preferably, you would want like 5 inches if you were using these kind of springs. But this is 3 inches, which is just about the most that will fit in the stock. This thing's the thing that stops it. But Radioactive 52, he makes this thing, the 3D printed part that includes this thing, and it like goes over and it makes an extended one. He hasn't released a one for brass yet, but he might or something. Also, if you don't want to do all this with the epoxy putty and brass and all that, and super glue, he sells things like this. They're 3D printed, Radioactive 52. I think I said that. And he sells them already filled in 3D printed ones that you just glue on there, which is really helpful if you don't want to do a bunch of DIY stuff. Okay, so this is what it looks like fully assembled. See the springs, the spacer, the trigger, the hammer thing, the plunger tube, the seal, this thing. I'll show you the brass in the next video, because I need cutting wheels because my dad stepped on them. And that's about it. I'll show a firing demo in the next video too. I might have a chronograph too, but I'll make no promises. So see you in the next one. Subscribe if you like, and hope this helped you.